Hey guys, in this video example we're going to talk about importing categories and using them to separate data on interfaces. And we're also going to explore how to display categories a little bit. The first thing we're going to do is start with a data file. So assuming that we've got no data in our account yet, how do we import categories and how do we import locations in those categories? So let's look at a real simple data file. So this only has a handful of records in it. Name, address, city, state are columns that you probably recognize, but then off to the right we have category 1, category 2, category 3, and we could kind of keep going on off to the right. These are the categories that these locations will end up in. So John Smith will be in retailers and distributors, and Michael Mandarin is only going to be in retailers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to import this data and we're going to create two locators. One that displays just our retailers and one that just displays our distributors. And so notice that these first 4 locations will be both retailers and distributors. So that is a really nice thing about categories, is that you can apply as many categories to a location as you like. So let's go ahead and get started by importing. I'm going to go to Data and then All Records. And the first thing I'm going to do is click Import. And I'll upload the CSV that we were looking at here by picking it from my computer. It's going to map the columns in MetaLocator to the columns that I chose in that spreadsheet. And these are all green, which means that MetaLocator recognized all of the columns in the spreadsheet. But let's go off to the right here and notice that it has automatically recognized category 1 and category 2. If your columns were named something else, that's okay. You just choose to map them. If you have multiple category columns, make sure to assign category 1 to the first column, category 2 to the second, and so on and so forth. Once all your columns are mapped up, click Next. In this case, we're going to wipe out the data that's in MetaLocator and replace it with what we're importing. Go ahead and click Finish there. That data will import, and looks like we need some latitude, longitude data with that. So I'm going to go ahead and geocode it. While it geocodes, let's go over to our interfaces. We're going to first create a retailer interface that only displays retailer data. So again, looking at the spreadsheet, we've got all of these records are in the retailer category. So when we create this locator, we should see everybody. So let's go ahead and make a new locator. I'm just going to create a dealer finder. I'm going to use this rich media layout. And the first thing I'm going to do is filter this locator to only display retailers. Of course, that's not actually going to filter anybody out because all my locations are retailers. So under Data, Filter and Sort, I'm going to say Show Only Categories, Retailers. And so now I see the 2 retailers that are near me. Let's go under Behavior, under Results, and let's show all. And we should be able to see that we've got all our locations here. So that looks good. I'm going to call this my retail locator. And we'll save that. The next thing I'm going to do is create another locator that only displays the distributors. So let's go back to Interfaces. We'll make a new one. Again, a dealer finder, rich media. But in this case, we're only going to show distributors. So what we should see is just these 4 locations. So we shouldn't see Adam Alias and Michael Mandarin. So again, under Filter and Sort, we're going to just go to distributors. And I'm also under Results, I'm going to show all, so that's a little bit easier to see that in this case we're only showing, notice Michael Mandarin and Adam Alias did not show up because they are not a distributor. So now I'm going to call this my distributor locator and save it. And so that is a very simple way of importing data using categories to create multiple interfaces that both display separate yet shared data. Now that we've got multiple locators, one displaying distributors and one displaying retailers, we might want to output what categories these locations are in the results. And most of our templates have this included automatically. And so notice here it says distributors, 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 because each one of these locations is a distributor. So under the list option set under results, you'll see down here category list. And notice that when I highlight my mouse over category list, it highlights the corresponding element in the locator. And so I can change how these are displayed. So for example, I can display this with a series of badges. I can display it in a group if I'm using groups. Personally, I like the badges display the most. And I also, if I'm using badges, I'm going to go ahead and remove the icon. And I'm also going to remove this dot list style since it doesn't really apply with badges. So that gets me to this little neat distributors badge. And notice that it is a dark blue secondary color. And now let's modify this interface so that it shows multiple categories. So under filter and sort, I'm going to remove the distributor filter, and now I'm going to show both retailers and distributors. So notice now we have the list retailers and distributors shown for each one of these, and now in this case Adam Alias is just a retailer, Michael Mandarin is also just a retailer, and that gives us that display. Now most of these interface templates already have the ability to search by category. So that is under the search options, you already have category listed in this in your options. So you'll have the ability automatically to search to just show retailers, to just show distributors. And that's about all there is to displaying categories in the results.